Whether you like it or not, our body needs constant fuel for it to function properly, and consuming food is the most feasible way of obtaining that. We're in a time when everything seems to be instant, from high-end technology to communication, indifferent transportation, and food services. Everything is definitely much more convenient than decades before. But as the demand for food supply increases, as our body develops, how careful are we with the choices of food we consume? The way on how we consume it, the time and interval between our meals, and do we still consider nutrition over satisfaction? A pleasant day, icons and lady icons. For today, we are going to talk about the building blocks of life, or also known as the different biomolecules. These biomolecules are actually present on every single living organism on Earth. These biomolecules are also present in the food materials that we eat. So if you will go to the market, supermarket, and even in the groceries, you're actually going to observe that at least one of these biomolecules are present on the different food materials that we consume every single day. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to categorize the biological molecules, also known as the carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids, according to their structure and function. You're going also to infer how biological molecules, both monomers and polymers, are created and broken down. You're going to investigate the occurrence and abundance of biomolecules on different food products. Also, you're going to appreciate the significance of biomolecules in various metabolic processes. So what are biomolecules? Biomolecules are organic macromolecules that are utilized by the body to perform various metabolic processes and are responsible for the sustenance of life of living organisms. Biomolecules can be categorized based on the following: size and length of molecule, and complexity and subunit possessed by it. Whenever we are talking about the size and length of molecule, there are two terms that we should consider. Those are the terms known as monomer and polymer. Monomers are the single subunits of biomolecules. Polymers, on the other hand, are the combination of different subunits or collection of monomers. When monomers combine, they create a polymer. This process is known as dehydration reaction, since a water molecule will be released from the union of two monomers. When polymers are broken down to shorter chains and simple monomers, they undergo the process known as hydrolysis reaction, since the addition of water is important to break the chains present in these long molecules. Biomolecules are further classified based on the complexity of the bonds present, like the presence of functional groups and the subunit they possess. These biomolecules can be categorized as the following: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids. Let's start first with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the simplest form of biomolecules. They are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms linked together to form the different sugars that we know. Carbohydrates are also known as the sugar group. Carbohydrates are the main source of energy and fuel in all organisms. They provide shape to certain cells, an essential part of the genetic makeup of our body. They are present in all shapes and complexities. These biomolecules can be categorized as the following. They could be monosaccharides, disaccharides, or polysaccharides. Let's start first with the monosaccharides. Monosaccharides, which are the simplest form of sugars. The most common examples of these monosaccharides are glucose, galactose, fructose, ribose, and dextrose. Disaccharides, on the other hand, are sugars created by the union of two monosaccharides. The most common examples for such are maltose, the sugar present among cereals, grain products, and beer; lactose, the sugar present among milk products; and lastly, sucrose, which is the sugar present among fruits and common table sugar. The third classification of carbohydrates are known as the polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are the most complex sugars since they are made out of chains or branches of monosaccharides and disaccharides. The common polysaccharides are known as the starch, which is the key component of rice, cassava, grains, and cereals, glycogen, the blood sugar, agar-agar and carrageenan, the source of natural gelatin, cellulose, the key component for the cell wall of plants and fungi, pectin, the component of the sticky sap of plants, and chitin, the structure present in the exoskeleton of arthropods. The second type of biomolecules are the lipids. Lipids are biomolecules that include fats and fat-soluble substances such as phospholipids, oil, wax, steroids, and sphingolipids. Lipids are made out of fatty acid monomers. Fatty acids are hydrocarbons that are either saturated or unsaturated. Saturated fatty acids only possess single bonds, while unsaturated fatty acids possess double bonds which result in the formation of bends in its structure. Saturated fatty acids are usually solid in room temperature, while unsaturated fatty acids, they tend to be liquid on room temperature. The third type of biomolecules are the proteins. Proteins are the ones that are responsible for the formation of muscles, and also 50% of the dry mass of the cells are made out of these biomolecules. Their monomers are known as the amino acids, and due to structural diversity, their functions are also diverse. The functions of proteins include enzyme catalyst, defense, transport, support, motion, regulation, and storage. The last type of biomolecules are known as the nucleic acids. They are made out of monomers known as the nucleotides. And these nucleotides, when they combine, are responsible for the formation of the genetic materials known as the ribonucleic acids or the RNA, and the deoxyribonucleic acid are also known as the DNA. Nucleic acids are responsible for the transfer of genetic information within a cell. Nucleic acids are actually made out of three basic parts: the presence of a sugar backbone, the presence of a phosphate group, and the presence of different types of nitrogenous bases. The combination of these different types of nucleotides are the reason why our heredity is simply made out of different types of codes, which will now be responsible for the formation of the different proteins and even enzymes that will direct different functions inside our body. So now, let's have a summary of the different things that we had discussed in this video. The first one, biomolecules are actually divided into four major types. We have the presence of carbohydrates, or also known as the sugars, the lipids, which are also known as the oil, waxes, and fats, then proteins, which are present on meat products and on muscles, and lastly, the nucleic acid that is present now on our hereditary program. These biomolecules can either be categorized as either the subunits known as the monomers or the more complex polymers. These materials are actually created by means of the addition or subtraction of water on the bonds that are present on every single one of them. Different food products are actually containing different types of biomolecules. For instance, fruits and vegetables are rich in carbohydrates, while meat products just like pork, beef, and even chicken are containing lipids or fats, and the muscles that is present in every single one of them is containing protein. While in the case of the different nucleic acids, it is actually present in the different food products that we consume, since nucleic acids are made out of sugars, phosphates, and nitrogenous bases. Without the presence of these biomolecules, we will not be able to sustain the life that is present here on Earth. These biomolecules are responsible for the different metabolic activities, which are the reason why we are having this certain type of energy for us to do work, for us to watch this video, for us to attend our class, and even to browse the internet and check on our social media. Without biomolecules, life will not flourish on Earth. That's all for the meantime. Thank you for listening, and I am hoping that you learned a lot in this lesson. Once again, I am Sir Leomred P. Medina, Haynayan, magpakailanman.